Hello everybody. Today we're going to be talking about proper left hand position as classically trained people like to approach these things. Most of you are self-taught and that's fine, but some of you may have missed out on some of these elements that we're going to talk about today. It's going to be very simple today. We're just going to talk mainly about hand position, proper hand position. We're going to talk about the fingers, the thumb, the wrist, and the elbow. The thumb and the elbow are often ignored. So we're going to touch base on those two. I'm going to try to keep this as simple and as short as possible. Let's talk about the fingers first. So I'm going to press down on this first string right here so you can, I don't know if you'll be able to see the indentions or not. I'm trying to make indentions on my fingers so you can see. I don't know if you can see or not. Finger 2 and finger 3 are dead on the center. But look at finger 1. It's off to the side right here, outside. And look at finger 4, the pinky. It's not on the center, it's off to the side right here. That's just the ergonomics of the hand. That is how we were created. So keep that in mind. When you put your fingers on the strings, you're going to have the index finger slightly out and the pinky slightly on the outside, and finger 2 and finger 3 dead on. Alright, now I got my base. So I'm going to teach you a very basic exercise to establish a proper position. Before we start, let's sit up straight at the edge of your chair so we have a good posture. If you have a footstool, I suggest you use it. If not, just try to elevate your leg somehow. Okay. I'm holding my instrument on my left leg. This is going to give me the best position for the left hand. Some of you might play on your right leg and that's okay. But for this exercise, you're going to hold it the way I'm holding it on the left leg. So that way you have an angle of the neck and we can talk about proper position. Okay, so we're going to start off by placing all the fingers on string number 1, 5th position. The position you're on the bass guitar or a regular guitar is determined by what fret your first finger, the index finger, is going to land on. So my first finger is on the 5th fret, my middle finger is on the 6th fret, my third finger is on the 7th fret, and my pinky is on the 8th fret. All fingers are curved. They're not flat. They are curved right behind the frets. Now, because I have small hands and this is a bass guitar, maybe the third finger won't stretch as far. That's okay. But as long as my pinky is stretched behind the fret, all the other fingers should be in order. Okay, so this is your position. Let's lift up finger number 1. Finger number 1 is one of your most dominant fingers, so it's easy to move up. Finger number 2, let's lift it up. Finger number 2 is also easy to move up and down. Finger number 3. You might notice something about finger number 3. It's the least flexible finger. That's okay. It's not broken. This is just how it's made. You need to be aware of this. Pinky might be the weaker one. Look at my thumb. My thumb is directly behind finger number 2. I'm playing on the ball end of my thumb. I don't want to bend like this because this is tension. This will cause tension. Play on the ball end. Keep it behind your second finger. Why the second finger? Well, let's talk about that. If you're going to grab something, where's my thumb? It's directly behind my fingers. This gives you the best leverage. What happens if I grab something with my thumb out of position? It's going to fall down. If I was going to grab my drink, the thumb would be behind the fingers for the best leverage. If my thumb was way over here, I'm going to drop my drink. So, thumb position. Thumb needs to be more or less behind the second finger for best position. Also, don't have it too high up here. You ever try to play a bass, fretless bass, and with this kind of position, you're going to have all kinds of problems. So, start training yourself to have a proper position. The thumb needs to be directly behind the second finger. What if all my fingers are on the lowest string? Then my thumb is up here. First string, it follows the fingers. 6th string, or 5th string in my case, follows the fingers. So it needs to be able to move up and down. Directly behind the second finger. As a general rule, second finger should touch the first crease of your thumb, like this. All right. Let's go ahead and put all the fingers in position. Lift up your first finger gently. Don't straighten it out. Just lift it up gently, release the tension, put it on string number 2. All the other fingers should be staying on string number 1. Now let's lift up the second finger gently. Take your time. Don't straighten it out. Put it on string number 2. Now let's lift up the third finger from the first string. Pinky stays there. Move it to string number 2. Then the pinky. Let's move it to string number 2. My wrist is a little bent right here, right? So I'm going to raise my thumb a little bit to straighten out my wrist. So the height of your thumb is used to straighten out that wrist. If I left it down here, it starts bending, right? So I got to raise it. I'm going to continue string number 3. First finger, taking my time. Second finger, I'm not straightening out my fingers. Third finger, pinky. I'm raising my thumb to straighten out that wrist. If you have a mirror, use it and practice with it, because that mirror is going to help you solve all kinds of problems that you won't be able to see otherwise from the angle you're sitting on. All right, first finger down to the next string, up, second, third, fourth, first, second, third, fourth. I just walked up my fingers, one finger at a time. All the other fingers are always pushing down on the string. Why? Because we're training the fingers to stay close to the strings. That way you don't have flying fingers. The fingers are going to be trained to always stay close to the string. So this exercise is helpful. I'm moving my thumb as well, being aware of my thumb, to straighten out my wrists. Why do you want to have a straight wrist? Show me this. Straighten out your wrists. Wiggle your fingers. Bend your wrists. Wiggle your fingers. You notice it's harder to do that? Why? Because you're bending your tendons. You're slowing it down. This is going to cause all kinds of problems, like a ganglion cyst right here, or tendonitis, or carpal tunnel. Keep a straight wrist. So your thumb needs to move up and down with your fingers. Starting from the first string, you take your time with this exercise. This is a tempo you should go slowly. I'm looking at my reflection right now, trying to keep my wrist straight by moving my thumb up and down. It's not a race. If you're doing this, trying to go fast, that's stupid. Don't do that. You need to go slow. It's not a race. This is all about developing awareness of position of the fingers directly behind the frets. The thumb used to straighten out the wrist. Now all the fingers are on the low string. You're going to work your way back down, starting with the first finger, then the second, then the third, then the pinky. You take your time. You adjust your thumb accordingly to keep your wrist straight. Take your time. Fast is dumb. You want to sound like an amateur, you rush. Don't rush. There's no need to rush. It's not a race. You're creating awareness. You're developing finger independence. All of this should always be straight, more or less, when you play. There's some players online that have incredible left hands. Classical guitarists in particular. Look up Anna Vidovic. Look up Stanley Yates. The left hand is impeccable. So as you climb up, one finger at a time, raise your wrist. Raise your thumb to straighten out that wrist. Be aware of your wrist. Be aware of your thumb. These are things that are often ignored. Also, the elbow, we'll talk a little bit about it right now. Don't keep it tucked in like this. Look what happens. I'm curving that. Bring it out a little bit. Don't flare it out. Later on, we'll talk about when to flare it out. Just keep it away from being tucked in. Keep it out slightly so you have a straight wrist. So, once again, fingers curved behind the frets. Thumb behind the second finger. Move it up and down behind the neck to straighten out the wrist. Keep the wrist straight so you have the best use of your fingers and the most ease. Keep your elbow slightly out. Don't Keep it tucked in, or that's also gonna mess with your straight wrists. Okay. I don't have a name for this exercise, but we're just gonna call it finger independence exercise for now. Okay, give it a try. Let me know what you think. Have a wonderful day.